Okay, so I want to talk about Reckoning or Ragnarok, and specifically the fight with Sasaki versus Poseidon. And that is the final opponent for season one that we see, and so on. What I like with this fight, as same as like the battle with Lubu and Thor, is that is really forward. I read in action. I also really much prefer, for example, Sasaki's backstory and really build up with him. The same with I think Poseidon's backstory is not as strong for me personally as Sasaki's backstory. The same, for example, Lubu's and Thor's backstory. I more prefer Lubu's backstory, and I think the fight is okay. But I think is like you see more action from the first episode with Lubu and Thor. They do much more. They really show off much more of their abilities. With Poseidon is much more like speculation, what kind of power really his full potential is, and he never show it because of that he's, as I said before in some other videos, that he is extremely arrogant and he really looks down on everybody. And I think that is the thing here, that we obviously, the cool thing with Sasaki is that he, every time Sasaki lose a battle, he still continued the fight in his mind, and that is something really cool. All the battles we see is something he already fight, but not physically, but he fight with that person in his mind, and then he learned how to really take down that arrogant person like Poseidon. And I think that is really a really cool really cool a really cool final to the whole thing with all of this is that when we see Sasaki cutting with his Nodachi, obviously because in Reckoning or Ragnarok, every weapon they get is from a Valkyrie that transforms to their weapon, and so obviously they give a very good Valkyrie to Sasaki, and that is a Valkyrie with two personalities. So when Poseidon with his trident destroys Sasaki's Nodachi, Sasaki's weapon instead be a two Wakasashis that he used, and that is really cool when he cut Poseidon in two with his two Wakasashis. And because I think the only thing I'm should be disappointed of is that I think you should see more underwater battle in that scene, battles with Poseidon and Sasaki, and more really more powerful. Because when we start the fight in the first episode with Lubu and Thor, we get much more direct, like really show up. Like obviously when we see Thor when his one of his gloves is damaged of Lubu's Hillibard, and then his hammer is awake and really show Thor's power, like when he say to Lubu, please don't die now, because now I want to show you my real power. And then when Thor uses like Jormungandr Slayer swing, and I think that is what obviously now this is also a video about Sasaki and Poseidon, but specific that fight we really see like a really cool movement, or really like the music in the backstories for Lubu and Thor, specifically for Lubu. Even if Lubu lost, Lubu was one of my favorite character in this show. Obviously in Three Kingdom I have to say is Guan Yu my favorite, the guy with the he's my favorite in the Three Kingdom. But specifically this battle, like really with Sasaki, I have to say Sasaki is the best in all of the things. His set of fighting, his set of talking, all of the things. I much prefer Sasaki. Like Poseidon have a very cool weapon, a very cool design of his weapon with the trident and his belt with the octopus. But for me, like his attitude is extremely bad. I think it's like it's one thing if you're arrogant and we see you fighting and we see you have a reason to be arrogant, but just because we don't see it, it's almost like for me, I like when something go forward and there's some real action, but not like and also, but this is a interesting fight because they are so different from each other. Like they are so different, how they think, their mindset, how they think about other people. Like this, like it's almost like you compare like like water and electricity. It's like this kind of Sasaki is electricity and Poseidon also is water, but in the mindset it's totally different. It's like really, and one of them is like really like a high pedestal, riding on a big white horse, like extremely arrogant. The other one is like really humble and like really every opponent that person meet is a worthy opponent. Then I also talk about Sasaki, and also Sasaki. I have always it's also very cool with the backstory, different animation. And for example, when Sasaki meets one of the most famous characters in Japanese story, the samurai. I don't remember his name, but I think it's a really also other things that are really cool is that the nodachi, the long sword, is a perfect weapon against a polearm weapon, for example a spear or a trident, for example Poseidon's weapon, and also because it's so many cool things that we have also obviously with like the Valkyrie with two personalities, and when the nodachi is destroyed, instead of nodachi we get two wakisashis. Yeah, it's really cool. The only thing I'm missing in that battle is more from Poseidon. That is the only thing I'm missing. We should see more from Poseidon, more different abilities, maybe something like that. But it's like really much. It's like very much one-sided, like in the sense that much more focusing about Sasaki and much more for him. I think you get more love. You see more for Sasaki, and you see from Poseidon. Poseidon is like almost like very, as I said before, extremely arrogant, do nothing, just yeah. That is what I'm missing. I'm missing that from Poseidon. More different things in this battle. More like I want to see more like the battle with Lubu and Thor, like this kind of thing, like more like really show off their real strength. And but so my favorite obviously my favorite episode is absolutely my favorite battles is absolutely Sasaki, Poseidon, Lubu and Thor. Is the two best in season 1. I think if I just say the best intro, I have to say then I give it to Adam. It's probably better, but it's much better backstories with Poseidon and Sasaki, and Lubu and Thor have much better backstories and much better background music in their backstories. Basically, the best background music is absolutely with Lubu when we see him in Manchuria after he killed two giant wolf and one big bear. It's much preferred, and it also is very cool because we see a very much similarity, for example, with Lubu and Thor. Both of them are from a very like warlike culture, like in Manchuria and the Vikings, like the Mongols and the Vikings. So that I think they're perfect fit for each other because they are really very similar to each other, a Viking and a Mongol. In many ways, like also they have many differences, but both of them like to fight, are warlike. You find many similarities, and you find more similarity with Thor and Lubu, and then you find similarity with Sasaki and Poseidon. It's like Poseidon is I don't know. It's almost like Poseidon was just forced to be in that battle because his brother Zeus forced him, because I think Zeus is the only one that can really make Poseidon listen. I think this is the only person that Poseidon look at, that is Zeus. But I think Poseidon and Zeus in this series also extremely different, because Zeus is much more friendly in some sense. He's not a friendly character, but he's more friendly to his opponent in some ways. he's more humor. Poseidon is really like stone face, harsh and mean and arrogant. And in some ways, obviously, you like Poseidon because of this, because he's like a very the classical manga character, very much like a very powerful manga character, like really look down on characters with this theme. For example, when he entered the arena and then he said to all of the people there, circus of filth, and he get angry when people applaud him because he think they are unworthy to applaud him. So much Poseidon look down on people that he think even if people talk good about him, he do not want to hear that, because he think they are filth, they are dirt under his feet. When they speak, they are ugly. He don't like them. He is a higher rank than them. He is a god. He is a king. He is the ruler of the ocean. He don't want to hear ugly people speak about him. This feeling you get of this character is like a really like the high pedestal. Like you are a commoner. You are a filth. You are dirt. Don't even speak in my presence. Like this attitude you get from Poseidon in Reckoning of Ragnarok, and that is totally opposite from Sasaki in Reckoning of Ragnarok. It's totally opposite. They are so different from each other, and that is something that is really cool, because they are so different from each other and they have totally different mindset. Somebody really think everybody you should respect when you fight against. You are not better than anybody else. So I mean it's so different, and with all of this kind of thing. Like Poseidon is probably the only character so far in the anime or the manga that have this really disgusting mindset of people. A really disgusting mindset. But still Poseidon is probably one of my favorite characters in the show. But he is a really disgusting mindset. And that is probably everything I really want to say for my talk and review about Reckoning and Ragnarok and Poseidon and Sasaki. Yeah.